A very warm welcome to all of you and heartfelt gratitude to this platform, schoolreformer.com, which has given me this opportunity to speak my mind. So, my name is Neetu Singh, as ma'am has already introduced. I have experience of 10 years in different boards. I have been a coach, I have been a teacher, I have taught in IB, ICSC, CBSE, and all age groups. And recently, I have been a communication soft skill trainer in Amity University, Lucknow. Presently, I am an English educator in Adani Gem School, Lucknow. So today, as we meet, we talk about something very simple. It sounds very simple, communication, but then this holds the heart of our lives. So, as the topic says, mindful communication. So, what is communication? It is just not the words. Communication is combination of both verbal and non-verbal. At times we are doing it intentionally, at times we are doing it unintentionally. But both the ways it holds the same effect. And to your surprise, the non-verbal holds more effect as compared to the verbal ones, right? Many a times you must have heard we keep on messaging each other all the time. In the digital age today, we are not able to meet the people face to face, right? So when we communicate, we it's as simple as we are sending an emoji. If we say send a smiley, it means different. If we send a heart, it means different. Even if we do not put the words to our emojis, but those emojis speak a lot. Yeah. So communication is how we connect, how we build trust, how we grow, right? So that, as I said, it's intentional at times, and at times it's unintentional, right? So why sometimes the messages don't land the way they should be? It's because there is one word, mindful. So when we say mindful, it is mindful versus mindful. As you can see on your screen, you have two images. One is full of all the information, and one is very calm. In both the ways, it is mindful. Now it is up to us to decide which category or which mindful aspect we want to adapt, because it makes a huge lot of difference in our day-to-day life, right? Communication has a very strong connection with our life, with our career, right? So when we talk about mindful versus mindful, so today we talk about why so much of information just fills up the mind. It's just like you have an almirah, right? One almirah has the clothes really dumped in. The clothes are good, but they are just simply filled, right? But the other almirah, with same quantity of clothes, they are properly packed, folded, and kept. So you will see that there's a lot of space, a lot of neatness. Same is in the case of our brain, our thoughts. If a lot of information is going without any retrospection, without any reflection, so it's a waste of energy, time, words, and everything. But when we think logically, when we pause, when we reflect on what we think, then our communication becomes meaningful, right? So let's just take a quick look. What is mindful communication? It's very simple. Mindful is some very simple aspect: listening, response, emotions, feelings, and thoughts. I know practically it is not possible that yes, we every time we follow these aspects and we keep a track of these aspects and we do a mindful communication. But yes, with the practice, it becomes our habit. And our habit, as you already know, they turn out or they shape our destiny. So if we work on the basic element of our life, that is communication, we will be certainly become better in our relationships, in our lives, and of course in our career, right? So the very basic thing, communication does not talk about speaking, it talks more about listening. It is only when we are a good listener we are able to comprehend, we are able to connect, we are able to understand emotions of the next person, we are able to understand the feelings, we are able to gauge the thoughts, the thoughts of our own as well as of the person who's speaking to us or whom with we are speaking, right? And yes, response. So listening and response, in between these two aspects we have a roller coaster of emotions, feelings, and thoughts, right? So, for instance, if you we all face a lot of criticism many a times, maybe at workplace, maybe in the family, maybe with our friends also. We are very judgmental, right? So, whenever somebody says something which is not as per our you might say expectations, right? So we do not analyze it anywhere. We are just quickly judgmental that why this person said this to me. For example, I am a teacher, right? So if somebody says that I took a session and this I'm being observed, or even if somebody doesn't observes me and as a friendly, you can say a feedback, he or she tells me that Neetu, this could have been a bit better, or if you include these things, so you can come up with a great session. So if I'm not mindful, I can be like, I'm such a good teacher. How can that person say that I have flaws? So it's only when I'm mindful and I take that, yes, if some certain person is saying something about me, so it is for my betterment. So it is when we are mindful, we are able to change our perception. We change the whole horizon to look at things, and that's all. This change in perception due to mindful communication brings the whole change. It betters our relationship, it betters our thought process, it betters our response, of course. And gradually, the kind of thoughts we have, it also enriches, right? So how there are some ways, some very simple ways where we can practice the mindful communication. Like the way we treat others, we are talking to people around us, be it be the students. If I talk about myself, talking about the students, my seniors, my colleagues, the helping staff, the support staff, in the family, of course, my parents, my husband, my child, or the other members in the family. So I need to check out that, yes, we all follow that how we should talk to the seniors, how we should talk to the elders, how we should talk to the younger ones. And to my surprise, it's we should be more careful when we are talking to the people who who make us very strong in the life. Your family, your colleagues, your workplace, your family, both are very important, and communication plays a very major role, right? So if I want somebody to respect me, I know it's very simple, but then how many times do we actually realize it? If I want somebody to respect me, to honor my feelings, to understand my perception, I should behave the similar way, right? And if I'm smiling, that sends a different message as compared if I'm sad or a bit arrogant, right? So the way I treat others, it not only involves the words, it also involves my body language, right? And of course, if somebody is speaking, I should always listen to that person very nicely, very calmly, with mindfulness, right? So I should make that person feel that yes, I'm very curious to know what you're speaking, right? I have to be very clear and precise when I speak something. And yes, we understand only when we listen properly. So listening and hearing are just a thin line apart. So we are learning here how to be a good listener. Only when you are a good listener, you are able to improvise on your communication, because listening is the baseline of the overall speaking. Nowadays, why it is so much of speaking, you might be aware of so many platforms wherein you talk about how to communicate, how to deal with people. So dealing with people is, of course, you understand what the person is, what you are going to talk about. That's a different story altogether. But the basic line is, what is your nature, what is your understanding about the communication. It is only when you understand the basic elements of communication, of mindful communication, you will be able to actually bring out that whole change in your conversation, and of course, the overall result for which you are doing it, right? As I'm communicating with you all at the moment as well. Yes. So that was a very subtle insight. Now let's just go through that, why it actually matters, why people are talking about, okay, communication is very important. Means even if you see the ads in the newspaper or anywhere on the social networking sites as well, for any job requirement also, one thing is mandatory: excellent communication skills. Now this excellent is a very vast term. So even if you're not able to understand exact what is the requirement of a particular firm, you can still have the understanding of the basic elements, right? And what is the benefit? You're more clear, okay? You understand well, and if you understand well, it is sure that the person whom you are communicating will also have the similar understanding, almost similar understanding, okay? When you communicate better, you are able to connect to the person better, right? Because the gestures, the tone of your language, the pitch of your language, the volume, the fluency, and the emotions, the intonation, all these things, they convey what you want to speak, right? You are aware, and you make the person also aware, right? At workplace, you are more effective. Why? Because you can communicate well. Speak less, communicate more. That's what we need to learn if we talk about mindful communication, okay? And only when you listen, you are able to solve the problems. We have a lot of issues, means the every time the problem is not required to be very big or very complicated. They are very simple issues. If I would like to share with you one. In the regular day-to-day process, if I know this is my schedule, this is my timetable, and if there is something other than the timetable, if I have to go for substitution regularly, or if I'm not able to get my free period, or even if I'm not able to get my sessions at the allotted time, if I'm not mindful in the normal sequence, I may get agitated, I may get frustrated. And that one frustration of mine will affect the people around in a very adverse manner. If I am frustrated, I'm not in a state of mind where I'm thinking positively or I'm thinking constructively, which is very important for anybody, especially for a teacher, of course, right? So my students, of course, I will not be able to deliver the lesson in the required manner. I will not be communicating more or less in the required way to my colleagues also. That may spark the other problem, right? So it is a chain reaction. So Listening and response is very important, and that's why we need to be very mindful, right? Because one simple thought out of the track, it changes the whole scene, right? So I take it as, salt, salt and sugar in your food. It only it only makes the food tasty if you are putting it in the required amount. Any less or more will definitely bring a change in the overall taste, right? So life is also, I take life also as a palatable dish wherein all the ingredients, and communication is a very important ingredient. So all the ingredients to be intact, in place, and you come up with the best of communication, right? So how can we just integrate, or how can we just bring this mindful communication in our day-to-day life, right? We go through a lot of emotions, right? So we need to check what to keep in and what to let go. This is something really important. We all have a lot of thoughts, we all are thinking continuously, right? But it is always that we have to put this filter of mindful communication, so that you are clear of your things, you are more empathetic, your response is more mindful, I would say, and your body language also goes in accordance. When you are calm, your body language reflects the same. It's just like when we are happy, we can't cry, right? And when we are sad, we can't smile. So it is such a connection with our thoughts and with our body expressions, right? So there are some foundational principles that we can really, which are very easy to follow. It is always, if we are mindful, we'll be in the present moment. So whenever somebody is speaking to you or you are speaking to somebody, be a good listener first, and then of course you will be a good speaker also, because if you are listening, the other person will always listen to you, right? Principle 2, embracing non-judgmental communication. This is something very, means it is, I could say that we have taken it unconsciously. We are judgmental. No matter what, we are judgmental. Maybe a bit more or less, but then we are. The moment, today also, the moment you would have seen me, you've not met me earlier, but now today, when you have seen me for the first time, there must be some image that you have formed today, right? So if I happen to meet you or have a talk further, might be that perception changes, or might be that perception lingers on for lifelong if we are not able to connect. Might be. So it can be both the ways. So we need to be, as rightly said, don't judge the book by its cover. So it is very right that if we give time to ourselves, it's not giving time to the other person, of course. It is the time that we give ourselves to get the things unfold for us, so that we can conclude, or we, whatever we have our perception towards, we can actually bank upon it, right? So we need to be a mindful listener, and yes, of course, you speak less but be more clear. That's the way we communicate. Less and more. Speak less, understand more, listen more, and understand more. Okay? So, being present, being non judgmental, being mindful listener, and speaking what is required, or being more precise, right? So, there are challenges also. Nothing in this world comes easy, right? So, same goes for your communication as well. So even if you're not able to do what is mindful communication in one go, which will not happen, of course, but yes, a conscious effort, a daily effort, a small change every day can really bring a major change in our lives. The habit formation also takes minimum 21 days. And it is, I know it is really difficult to keep a thing for 21 days. But yes, we are human beings and we are capable of everything on this planet. If you believe in yourself, the things are unstoppable and you can achieve anything in the existence. Mark my words, you can achieve anything in the existence, right? So even if you are not able to follow in first go, try until you succeed, right? Second is we need to shift our thought process. We need to develop and we need to have a growth mindset. Growth mindset in the sense focusing more on the positivity of any communication or anything, any aspect, rather than being focusing on the negative. Take it as an example that if my child is a bit naughty or a bit more active, hyperactive, which we usually say, so I should be focusing instead of saying he doesn't listen, he doesn't do anything, he is like this. So what am I feeding that child, that little brain, that young mind, with lot of no, 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 can't do, whatever he does is not right. Instead of that, I can shift gradually. Okay, beta, you are so good at this. Let's try doing some activities in English also. Might be he's good at maths, might be he is not that good at writing. So I can let you know giving him that sense of achievement in one aspect, I can gradually switch on to something which I want him to do, right? And same goes with us as well. We are adults but still we function very much like a child, okay? Then building a support network, of course you talk around people who are positive, help them to come out with their own things so that they are also developing along with you. Your company matters. As you are affected by your company, your colleagues, your people around are also affected by you. And yes, take care of yourself. That is something really important, okay? So I've already suggested you, we have to be active listener, focus on more non-verbal communication, your eye contact, your posture, your smile, your intonation, right? How you respond overall. And of course, don't have a lot of movement which is not required. Excessive anything is bad. And of course, have that I factor. Believe in yourself, okay? And pause whenever required, because it's only when we pause we understand, right? Nobody speaks. A good speaker doesn't mean that he speaks without any errors and he speaks at length without any pauses. No, if my audience is not understanding what I want to convey, it's no point. My action, my diction, my pronunciation will not matter much, right? So the pauses are that very important. We have pauses everywhere, right? So that is the effect and that is the importance. And of course the digital mindfulness, which is very important at the moment. Why? Because we are so much into digital world that we are going away from ourselves. Forget about everybody else, but we are going away from ourselves, right? So some of the benefits that we can get at the workplace, you're a bit calm, as I just shared the example. If I'm frustrated, how it can spark the overall chain, right? If I'm less stressed, I'm more peaceful. Of course, I'm more productive. I am having a very good relationship with my colleagues. Overall, I get a good feeling at the workplace. Okay, emotionally, I'm strong. And yes, of course, I can be a better decision maker in that way. Okay, family, I should give time in family so that sitting with the family always enhances. When you communicate, you put across your ideas, your perceptions regarding something that is going on. And when we eat together, long time back, our our parents, our grandparents, they used to sit at one time and have the food. Yes, so this was the overall outcome that they desired. And yes, of course, we can, when we sit back at the same table, Sharing our meals, we can always decide on and solve our problems, right? This is something mindful listening challenge. You can always, take out few minutes, do deep breathing, pat yourself for the day, what you've achieved. Of course, everybody achieves something, and we have to be like grateful to the Almighty for giving this day, for giving each moment to us, because there are many who don't get it, right? And yes, 1 minute of breathing every day we all can do to enhance this mindfulness and see that what am I feeling at the moment? Yes. What is something that is really distracting me, and what is something that is really making me happy? This 1 minute breathing practice can really enhance and you can increase with each passing day, right? And we all feel that yes, when we feel happy, the world around us is also equally happy, right? So to truly master this and to achieve this mindful communication, we can always engage into some activities, of course, which really help us to be happy. And at times we should always do things, right, which doesn't make sense, but yes, it gives you peace of mind, it makes you happy. So don't let that child in you, subside. If you keep that child alive, you are alive as a person, right? So thank you for listening to me patiently and being here, right? So these are few takeaways of the session, that communication is the way to connect. My intention will always matter. Listening is powerful. If you're clear, you're confident. We all have experienced this, right? And reflection will always help in the growth, right? Thank you and gratitude.
Thank you, Miss Neetu. Wonderful session, ma'am. Wonderful sharing. So I have a couple of questions.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have covered most of the points, but what do you think? What are some common communication pitfalls that young minds should avoid, and how can they overcome them, ma'am?
So the common pitfalls nowadays, youngsters are so much obsessed with the things around that they do not listen to the things, and it is difficult for a person, maybe the teachers or maybe the parents. We all are in a habit of lecturing them. That should be avoided. We should sit with them, let them speak. We have to be good listeners, first of all, and only then we can inculcate this listening habit. We have to model it. No matter they have grown, but they are still younger to us and we are more experienced. So, as an adult, we should inculcate this habit of listening. And when they start listening, they will learn to figure out what is wrong and what is right. They will not be requiring then many times the parents have to struggle that how to actually make them understand what is the right way and what is not to be followed. But they have to be good listeners. If they listen good, they will be able to analyze, and of course they should be able to visualize that what I am doing is what is worth for, what is the main goal. So if the objective is clear to the children, to the young minds, they'll be able to connect. So more of the things, more of the talks and the things should be done. There should be more actionable things rather than the verbal, because verbal doesn't work. As a mother, as a teacher, I've experienced it doesn't work because they are not able to visualize. So, for the young minds to get away with those pitfalls, this is the only way that we should make them realize that yes, what is happening in the world through our actions. If we are not into digital mode more, they will be able to understand why. Instead of telling them that please keep away from the screen, if we model the same, the things are easily communicated to them.
Right. So, ma'am, we really discussed about the art of communication, but
Yes, ma'am.
how can young minds overcome stage fright or public speaking anxiety? And what techniques have you found most effective?
For the young minds, see, we have the stage fear at this stage also. When I have to speak, I'm sharing my own experience. When I have to speak, that little bit of anxiety is always there, that maybe what if I falter. So when I deal with the young minds, of course we are dealing with the students, so when I deal with the young minds, so I give them that confidence that just believe in yourself. The very first point, that believe in yourself. What you're doing is right. It's only when you make mistakes you're able to improve, right? So participation and indulging and taking that ownership, believing in yourself, is the first step towards your doing away with that stage fright. 1 minute daily, now it's digital world, and students are aware of they are better at technology rather as compared to us as adults, to be very frank, to be very honest. So they make what I advise them: make 1 minute alternate days, record 1 minute audio, twice a week record 1 minute video, and see yourself. 5 minutes of speaking, or 2 to 3 minutes of speaking in front of the mirror will always help you, because it's very difficult. Even if you also try it, standing in front of the mirror and speaking, you will, falter, and you will feel a bit, might be you are shy. So when the students start practicing them, these practices are very normal and they appear to be very normal, but then they are very really effective. It has been tested time and again. I've done it with myself also, and yes, few of my students have also done, and they have really benefited. First of all, they converse at home and in school in English, because this is a language and this is the only way we can improvise on it. So they converse most of the time in English, and even if they go wrong, they are not actually scolded. To be means, I'm putting it in a very harsh language, I would say, but they're not scolded. They are they are actually told that how why this happens and how you can improvise. So we are always on the, not feedback, we are on the feed forward. We are more of a facilitator than a teacher. So we are hand holding them, we are giving them that encouragement, that support, that confidence, that yes, you can do it. And every individual, especially the students, every student is equally potential child. So I really, instill these statements in them, that each one of you is talented. So what you do for your stage right, whenever you get the opportunity, please come and speak. You speak wrong or right, but you speak. First thing, communication in English is important, because that's the only way you can improvise, because no 2 months or 3 months or 5 month course will bring that change in you what these daily practices can actually, because daily habits only make the change, right? And your 1 minute recorded video and audio, that helps you. Okay, when you listen to your recording, you always are able to gauge out that, okay, I could have spoken this in a better tone, or with more volume or more pitch, or a bit more intonation was required, or maybe the change of vocabulary, because the content also matters. So these are the very few easy things that the children can follow to improvise. And yes, of course, making a journal wherein they note down that yes, every day what I have learnt and how much I have improved. Maybe I've learned to spelling, or maybe I have learned to frame grammatically vocabulary rich sentences. So these are small practices that they make a large and huge difference.
Thank you. So, can you discuss the importance of body language in communication?
Yes, body language is very important, because when the very first thing, when I have come here, and the way I'm using my hands, it makes a lot of difference. If my hand movements and if my facial expressions are not matching what I'm saying, it will not convey what I want to speak. Similarly, for the students, if you have to speak about something, you have to have that correlated expressions. Like if you are describing or sharing about your vacation, so you will be all excited to share it. And if you are happy to share, that happiness should be visible from your face, right? So that is the role of expression in your communication and your body language. If why do we ask you people to sit straight? Why? Because when you sit straight, it is all connected. You feel more confident, and your posture gives you that belief that yes, we ask you to stand straight, to walk straight, to talk firmly, to smile, to have a smile on your face. So a person who is smiling, who speaks in a very melodious voice, right, has more effect. If you don't talk about the content, he or she will be more effective. So your body language, the way you stand, the way you greet, the way you nod your head, the way you move your hands, everything matters, right? And it's a whole sign language. The people who are differently abled, who cannot hear and who cannot speak, they understand everything by the sign language. So you can understand how powerful is the body language. So our communication is closely linked. Your words and your gestures cannot be a way apart, they are one. And that gap, that bridging is what you have to learn, and that is what is communication all about,
Right,
right?
ma'am. So, last question, but not the least. This is the digital era, and this is the digital generation
Yes.
we are dealing with. So, how can these young minds use digital platforms and social media to improve their communication skills and reach a wider audience?
Yes, so digital nowadays, the students are glued actually to the screens. So it is the responsibility. It becomes the responsibility of the parents, and of course, whosoever is in connection, might be the college. They are in the college or the university or wherever they are. So the people who are around them, they can actually guide them. That we have a lot of platforms wherein you can, maybe it's content writers, maybe you have public speaking platforms, maybe you have a lot of competitions wherein you can pitch in. So, and yeah, of course, if you talk about AI, so you can always have that written material, or you can always utilize that platform to enhance both your written and your spoken English. Because nowadays the schools also conduct a lot of competitions wherein the students are allowed to come up with their creativity. So these digital tools, they really help you to come up and weave around your creativity, combination of your thoughts, and of course the AI helps you to polish them and come up with the uh, very unique pieces where you can practice. And yes, of course, if you talk about Instagram, if you are in a means most of the people are in a habit of making reels nowadays. Making reels is a trend, and anybody who's not doing it is considered to be like backward, to be very frank. So the children, the young minds, they can utilize for their educational purpose. You can record your, might be your storytelling, you can record your, might be a lesson explanation, and you can share with your, you have podcast, you have this Instagram channel, and you have a lot of educational platforms also. Maybe you have at Britannica. So where in, yes, and the schools are also linked with these platforms, and we provide the students the access also. Like if you talk about my own school, we have this Wordsworth, we have GetLit, wherein the students are provided with the platform. They can uh, gauge, they can research the content, and they can make a required video, which of course is an integration of their understanding, the technology, and of course the learning goal that they have to achieve. So this technology, we have to make the children understand this technology is a boon for us before it becomes a bane for them if they use it by their own. So we have to be a little bit vigilant. And of course, as I previously said, it is more of actionable things and habits that we have to model to them, like how we are using it for the betterment of education, or for the betterment of our teaching, or for the betterment of the lesson. So if we pass on this understanding to our kids, they will gradually shift to the possible and better use of technology as compared to just giving away their time in just anything and everything.
Right, ma'am. Absolutely. Thank you. School Journal of Education and schoolreformer.com. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions, ma'am. Before I end the session, anything else you want to mention, Ms. Neetu?
I just want to mention that first of all, of course, thank you and gratitude for the opportunity, and I just it's my request that we all should be mindful communicators, because we are the ones who will bring the change in the society. And of course, if you are an educator, you are continuously motivating and inspiring the young minds. So if we are mindful, it will affect the generations to come. So let's be mindful and change the world. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you. I'll end the session now.